One Gospel, version 2, part 65, Jesus feeds the 5,000, from Matthew 14:14 to 21, Mark 6:34 to 44, Luke 9:11 to 17, and John 6:3 to 14. And Yeshua went forth up on a mountain, and he sat there with his disciples. And the Passover, a feast of the Yahud, was near. Then Yeshua lifted up his eyes, and he saw a great multitude come to him, and he received them. And he was moved with compassion toward them, because they were like sheep not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things, and spoke to them concerning the kingdom of God. And he healed their sick, those who needed healing. And when it was evening, his 12 disciples came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place here, and the hour is now late. Send the multitude away, so that they may go into the surrounding villages and country and lodge, and buy themselves food, for they have nothing to eat." And Yeshua answered and said to them, "They do not need to depart. You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "Shall we go and buy 200 denarii worth of bread, and give that to them to eat?" He said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread that these may eat?" And he said this to test him, for he himself had known what he was about to do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that each of them may take a little. And he said to them, "How many loaves do you have? Go and see." And when they knew, one of his disciples, Andrew, the brother of Shimon Kepha, said to him, "There is a little boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. We only have here no more than 5 loaves and 2 fish, unless we go and buy food for all these people. But what are they among so many?" For they were about 5,000 men. And he said, "Bring them here to me." And Yeshua said to his disciples, "Make all the men sit down in groups of 50 on the green grass." And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass. And they did so, and had them all sit down. Now there was a lot of grass in that place, and so the men sat down in groups by hundreds and by fifties, in number about 5,000. And then Yeshua took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and he looked up to the heaven. And when he had given thanks, he blessed and broke the loaves, and he gave the loaves to the disciples to set before the multitude, and the disciples to the multitude sitting down. And likewise he divided the 2 fish to all, as much as they wanted. And when they all ate and were filled, he said to his disciples, "Gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing may be lost." Therefore they gathered them together, and they took up 12 full baskets of the leftover fragments from the 5 barley loaves that remained, and of the fish which were left over by those who had eaten. And those who had eaten the loaves were about 5,000 men, beside women and children. Then those men, when they had seen the sign that Yeshua performed, said, "This is truly that prophet who is coming into the world."